What's up guys, welcome back for another Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Duel video. Next match, Cross-Banlist Cup, final match here, and then it's back, or you know, all the way back to the beginning and starting off with Group A again for the next matchups. But the matchup of today, we have the two last winners from the Cross-Banlist Cup series. The winner of last year, Extra Deck Monarchs. As you see here, this particular list, the same list, I was happy with this particular list, takes on the winner before, well, like 2 years ago, and that's Ravine Rulers. List will be shown in the next couple of moments, but Extra Deck Monarchs, definitely one of the best decks. I mean, it was quite unstoppable. Well, breaking is of course the biggest weakness of this deck, but as you know, if you played Extra Deck Monarchs as soon as you got, well, your Monarch engine intact and your main engine going, it was very hard to stop. Second list, we have Dragon Rulers slash Ravine Rulers from back in 2013. The winner of YCS London back in 2013. You know, the Dragon Rulers basically post their first ban list with the banning of Super Rejuvenation, I think, and the Baby Dragon Rulers. But a very strong list. 6 cents, of course, Return from a Different Dimension, which was it one, of course. And yeah, most importantly, the full engine of both, or the all Dragon Rulers sitting at 3. And of course, Ravine, Dragon's Ravine, the very powerful field spell. So which deck has the advantage? And over 1100 votes, a lot. Thanks again, like always, feel free to leave your predictions for the next video in the upper right corner, the I symbol, or, you know, just leave a comment. But this was fascinating, because my opinion was that Extra Deck Monarchs should have, like, the huge advantage over Dragon Rulers. But again, the breaking and the consistency is of course much different. Dragon Rulers, Ravine Rulers is of course much more consistent compared to Extra Deck Monarchs. But the power ceiling, or you know, the ceiling, the maximum ceiling both decks, or at least of both decks, I feel Extra Deck Monarchs should be stronger compared to Ravine Rulers. But I can definitely agree here with the comments. Anyway, game number 1. I get to start, so Mega Monarchs do start off with, well, this was quite dangerous. Not opening any Tribute Father, but thanks to Pantheism being at 3, the deck was of course much more consistent compared to, you know, 2019. But the triple Pantheism eventually leads to one of the Tribute Father monsters being Red Layer, and finally get the full engine off with, of course, Return ready to search something, probably Aether, right, depending on my hand. And the Rebus was able to send something back from my opponent's hand. So again, very strong here, getting the extra draws off of Kuras. And the Twin Twister is just, you know, an extra niche here in this situation. Just, well, makes the game state much easier, so use Twin Twisters on both the back rows. Okay, double Wing Blast, okay, that's cool, I guess, doesn't really matter too much. Just draw Majesty's Fiend, and Majesty's Fiend does block all the Dragon Rulers' effects, so this again, I mean, if I'm able to drop Majesty's Fiend, there's little anything or little he can do, especially after a Twin Twister on both Phoenix Wing Blasts, since those cards are one of his few outs against a full force Majesty's Fiend, right? Anyway, so going second here, the opponent does open very nicely with the Dragon's Ravine and, you know, some extra fodder. And the Trigon combo, you know, Trigon, I believe the name is, just basically a small dragon monster that you can reborn with Debris Dragon, and, you know, it makes your double Dracossack play, for example, live. Again, I think definitely one of these decks, or Ravine Rulers, one of the best combos that particular deck had, especially first turn. Double Dracossack, a fully loaded graveyard with multiple dragons, and his last copy of like a Dragon's Ravine in his hand. The Twin Twister saves my life here, getting rid of the Dragon's Ravine and the one back. Not really sure what that was, not that important, I think. But well, it's just not give him too many dragons in his graveyard to get banished eventually, to potentially go for the OTK. But that wasn't the case, and that top deck into luckily the lucky Red Layer. And now this I can't lose this one, even though he's set to go with a couple of Dragon Rulers in his graveyard, alive Dracossack. This is just far too strong. Rebus setting up the Prime Monarch in my graveyard to potentially hold off my opponent, and both Stormfort Aether One of the best 2-card combinations ever in this game's history. It's so strong. It lets you play during your opponent's turn. It gets rid of like a boss monster on your opponent's side of the field, and at the same time it puts up 2 big bodies on your own field, and at the same time sets up your graveyard with, you know, Father, the Monarch trap, the Monarch spell Pantheism, which on its own already searches out another threat or a potential threat for your opponent. So it's just so strong. Brilliant fusion, giving me the extra normal summon here. And of course, no card in hand, so I don't have to fear a potential Swift Scarecrow. Here the small combination, as you know, if one of those targeted cards from Prime, flipped over Prime, is sent back to the deck, you can draw 1 card, but, well, you can just banish the other copy off of the engraved Prime. Well, okay, this doesn't really matter, right? The full force field, double Aether, and Majesty's Fiend as well. It's again blocking the potential Dragon Ruler. So game number 3, it's going swiftly. It's definitely going swiftly for Monarchs. Didn't really look that great in game number 2, but whatever, right? So game number 3, the opponent starts off really well. No Maxi and my opening hand. It's quite okay, I guess, especially, well, going second. I think my only fear here in this situation is if the opponent has Backrow as Wing Blast, or, well, worst case scenario, Warning, well, Torrential, I guess. Well, nah, not really. Well, nah, well, maybe, well, because of Kuras, right? But anyway, so Solemn Warning on the Kuras summon, that seals the deal. That's like the nail in the coffin. And my thought process here was, well, let's just get both return on the field, eventually getting a search. That doesn't make sense, now that I think of it. Again, Wing Blast would just have targeted the Kuras right, bouncing back and bypass the potential return search. And it's going to bite me in the ass, as you'll see in a couple of moments, since my next draw is going to be something useful if I kept that second copy of return in my hand. Yeah, Pantheism is not life now, but again, I don't think it would have mattered too much. The opponent sitting at full life points. And yeah, 2 back rows, Wing Blast live, Crimson, yeah, Crimson Blader. I have to watch out for Crimson Blader. It's one of those MVPs against Monarchs, but this is not regular Monarchs, this is Mega Monarchs, and they do have like pretty much the same attack set as Crimson Blader. So I have to keep track of not leaving any low attack or low defense monsters on the field as in Prime. Otherwise, Crimson Blader isn't really doing anything. So game number 4, I start off, and maybe I could have tributed the other Aether. I was like, well, if he does have an art for Majesty's Fiend as in Wing Blast, Torrential Tribute, for example, I'm happy with the follow-up play of Stormfort Aether, and I make a mistake here, like setting Tenacity. That's of course like a brain fart, or how do you say it? But it's not going to matter again. Using Kuras, getting rid of my own return, and at least I probably should have played around the Scarecrow by dropping another Majesty. I definitely was able to drop another Majesty's Fiend here if I Twin Twisted Erebus getting back the Majesty's Fiend, and, you know, getting the extra tribute summon for the Majesty's Fiend, but it's not going to matter, right? I've played these on the field. Let's say if he did have Scarecrow, I have Twin Twister in hand, Stormfort set, play these live, right, to potentially bounce something, maybe bounce Aether back, using Aether during the opponent's turn. So this is, I feel, a well-deserved win for Monarchs. There's still 1 game left, like an extra duel, right? Some filler, not spoiling, or, you know, preventing some spoilers by just looking at the short video length. But anyway, again, I think this is a well-deserved win. So extra deck Monarchs getting the 3 points, with the Dragon Rulers only getting the 1 point. But again, as you know, feel free to leave your predictions for the next matchup. But yeah, anyway, so I believe the opponent got to start. My opening hand, that's like the lovely brick. And one of the comments shown earlier, I definitely agree with that. If Monarchs brick like this, no tribute father, or, well, no tribute monsters, well, he still needs to have like the perfect hand. He still needs to have like multiple dragons and go for the potential OTK, since like double Draco Sack isn't really going to do anything. if I have Stormforge, Erebus or whatever, but yeah, MXC, what is like the +5 draws going to do in this situation, since there's nothing really I can top deck here in this situation. So, but again, okay, I think we have a well-deserved winner here with extra deck Monarchs over Ravine Rulers, and again, the next matchup, this is a big one. Pendulum Magicians from 2017 is going to take on Dark Matter Dragon. It's an insane matchup. So again, feel free to leave your predictions in the upper right corner, or like always a comment. Okay guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or a like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.